All right, good people, fellow citizens of Afrique du Sud, my brothers and sisters of the Rainbow Nation, children of God. Hey, we've been through a strange time. We've spent the last 18 months, call it in lockdown. That has its own challenges on life and humanity. And then the last month has just been a chaotic situation of mayhem. People, fellow citizens. And what I'd like to do today is what I'd like to do today is spend some time with my partner in rhyme, my friend in crime. The crime of uplifting mankind. People have been murdered for uplifting mankind. Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Jesus Christ, just to mention a few, lost their lives trying to uplift mankind. The last month or so, we've been going through really trying times here in South Africa and on this planet in general. But this weekend, things took a turn for probably the worst. Today, I'm here with my partner, Stephen van Basten from the Yin Yang Sales, sharing some thoughts and some wisdom on the empathy required for us to understand the situation we're currently in and then transcend it or outlive it, outgrow it, so we can get together to the other side, whole, happy, and fulfilled. Stephen, a long introduction to a very important topic. Over to you, my friend. Tell us more about empathy. What is this empathy thing?
Yeah, man, it's it's been so strange, Vinesh. Firstly, thank you, and thank you for being there, and thank you for being with me, and thank you for all of the stuff that we do and attempt to do for ourselves mainly, and for others. So I'd like to really just start by saying, we live in an incredibly complex country. Our history is incredibly complex. We are incredibly diverse. We're first world, third world. We're kind of capitalist, socialist. We're kind of, I don't know. It's two funny words. Don't judge me on these two words. We're like civilized and tribalized at the same time, if you know what I'm trying to say there. And so, it's really a diverse and complex country that we find ourselves in. And, we need to understand that. We need to understand that many people were suppressed, others were uplifted. And you can't judge each other from where you are. Now, I'm not saying either is worse or bad. I'm just they're in different places. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's a human being, and from a divine perspective, we're all equal. We're all just souls in a human body here on planet Earth. So there's no up, down, better, worse, richer, poorer, all of that. There's no judgment around that. But we are all in different places, and because of that, we just see things from our own paradigm. If we deem ourselves to be more civilized, we would expect people to go to the courts to sort out their problems. But if we deem ourselves to be more hands-on, we will deal with things in the community. What the civilized may call mob justice is absolutely a normal, acceptable way of doing things for us with the resources we have. So it's really, I watch, so I personally, I felt that Jacob Zuma has done, it's my personal opinion, has done bad for our country. He refused to appear. I think what's happened is correct. I think that we've stood up to him once and for all after 3 decades of him getting out of jail and not going to jail and not going to court and somehow worming himself out of that. I finally feel like there's been some justice. I also, and then I understand that his followers will be unhappy, because I understand human nature, and we love our followers. And like, if your daughter hypothetically were to go to jail for murder, you'd still love her. You know what I mean? You still go, oh, she was provoked, or you'd still up for her because you love her. It's natural. So we do that for our leaders, even when they are bad leaders. So I get it, and I have all the empathy in the world for that. I was just watching, and I am watching now, people getting arrested, and I have such mixed feelings. On the one hand, we need to take control. We need to get the rule of law. We need to, I don't know why Cyril Ramaphosa took so long to bring this level of lockdown. He's a week late. Also, I don't, I got COVID in that week when, if it had been locked down, and because I think I got it at a restaurant. If it had been locked down, I think my family wouldn't have got it. Now, I take that on my chin. It's my fault. I'm not giving him the responsibility. I knew there was lockdown. I did things, but I think he took a week too long to shut down Gauteng. And I think he's taken too long to get the army in. I still don't see them. And it hasn't mobilized quickly enough for me, in my opinion. But at the same time, I just feel so sad for the guys getting arrested and lying on the floor there and getting abused and getting their teeth knocked out. And I've been in a kind of a mobby thing before, which is quite fun. It's quite, you get sucked in, and when there's a whole psychology about being in a mob, and I'm using that word, or being in a riot, or being whatever. I'm not, excuse the derogatory words, just go past that. It's not about that. It's just, I've been in that, and it's so lovely. Because when you're in a mob, when you're in this group, you're anonymous and you're above the law, and there's power, and those people just got sucked into some stuff. This isn't about Jacob Zuma anymore. This is South Africans unhappy and expressing themselves, unfortunately, in the way that we South Africans, and I say we South Africans, I'm a South African when I was born here. We South Africans tend to do that. When we're unhappy, we riot, we burn trucks, we burn down places, we kill each other, we stab each other, that kind of stuff. And from a human behavior perspective, that happens. So my call is really just empathy and understanding. Just don't judge other people from your standing, your perspective, your consciousness, your civilization, your mindset. We're all just, at the end of the day, human beings, a soul in a human body trying to eke out a decent living for ourselves.
Hey, thanks, man. So I just want to go back a step. We have a situation of empathy, and according to the dictionary, empathy is the ability to understand somebody else's feelings. So just your ability to understand how they feel. Now, I would just want to point out, we're not condoning violence. We're not condoning rioting. We're not condoning murder, looting, theft, or any criminality. We don't condone it. But where we're coming from today is a point of empathy, understanding that people have reached a point of hunger, desperation, criminality, however you want to, whatever words you want to use, they're using that and they're using the violence and the looting and the theft as a breakthrough of their frustrations. Now, listen, for us middle class people, for rich people, wealthy people in their golf estates, high fences, security guards, armed response,
full freezer.
Right, you've got a full freezer. Your bar is fully stocked. Your closet, your cupboards are fully stocked. Your freezers, you have 2 fridges or 3 fridges in your house. Hey, you and I, we're blessed to have the abundance, and some people have little to nothing. Trying to figure out, how am I going to get a meal today? Now, we want you to empathize and understand their plight and understand from their position, without condoning violence, criminality, theft, looting, without condoning it, but understand and empathize that even when that person gets caught and goes to jail, maybe that's even a better place. I've heard in Cape Town, where I grew up, some kids would say, I'd rather go to jail, man. I'm guaranteed
3 square meals a day and a place to sleep where I don't get killed in gang shooting crossfire.
Correct. So I've heard people say this, I'd rather be in jail. Now, what kind of consciousness is that person in? What kind of reality are they in that they will be incarcerated to enjoy a little bit of basic human rights? A roof over their head, 3 square meals, hot shower. My Lord. Stephen, over to you, man.
And a walk in the courtyard at lunchtime.
Play football, pump some iron like they do in the movies. Yeah. So if
it's
you're
a tough time.
Go.
It's a tough time. It's a tough time, and so you're absolutely right. I like your wordology there, and that is that we're not condoning it, but we're trying to understand it. And one of the things is one of the concepts that comes through quite a lot is it is happening. Okay, so it is happening. We're confronted with it right now, and it's actually, when you try to find the interesting and the beautiful in it, we are learning so much about human nature right now. We're learning. It's a beautiful, beautiful time to learn about different human beings and how they react and what they do and what happens in societies and where we are. And I would like us all, and mostly my friends, I guess, Vinesh, to at least consider our role in it, or our forefathers' role in it. And I just want to give us some food for thought as we end off today, and that is that the present is created by the past. And whether you like it or not, we're in this situation because of the past. And whether you can see it or not right now, I'm going to ask you to empathize with 90% of South Africans who know that something bad was done to them. And it was done to them by us. And whether you like that or not, it happened in the past and it's brought us to where we were. Yes, you can say we were better governed, and the poor dude who got fired from Standard Bank for saying that, actually he was right. It was better governed, but only for 10% of us, or 9% of us. Yes, it was better governed, blah, 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 but only for 9% of South Africa. And that is wrong. And that's created this, whether you like it or not, we're here because of our forefathers' part in this. That's the bottom line. So let's take that personal responsibility at least and go, goodness gracious, yeah, I faulted there. Goodness gracious, we're here because of our history. Now, where do we go from here, and how do we build it? The last thing, Vinesh, is I'd like to give the South Africans just a thought. It's only 1% or less of the South African population that are rioting and looting. 99% of South Africans are against us. The majority of South Africans don't like us, don't want us, and we'll prevail. We'll get through this. We're actually relatively safe. They're looting shopping centers, so just don't go to the shopping center. You're going to be fine. This hasn't spilled over into too much other stuff and property and things like that.
Yeah. Amen. And as we conclude on that point, I want you to think about the Rainbow Nation, the dream of many people of different colors, nationalities, languages, how we share planet Earth, how we share South Africa. People like Madiba, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, any of the greats who persisted against injustice. And this is an injustice to you and me today. When your rights are infringed, it's unjust to you. So it's unjust that you cannot go to the mall to buy food for your family. That's an infringement on your rights. So even though we are the victims, and I'm going to go in inverted commas because there's a bigger victim here in the past. But if we're the victims of this situation now, what is the responsibility of us to create a better future? Because that's what everybody wants, a better South Africa. And that means we have to be inclusive. We have to include the less privileged. We have to include the other races. We should embrace diversity of culture and not just have these walls that it's us and them. As soon as you go us and them, you're creating a massive divide. And when there's a divide, the us and them will never find synchronicity or peace or prosperity together. So, my final thought on is that the future's in your hands. The past was in our ancestors' hands. The future is in our hands. We can create a better future for your kids, my kids, and the kids of the black, white, Indian, colored, Chinese, and the international community. Stephen, over to you. Final words, and we call it today.
Yeah, just the last thing, Vinesh, and thank you for that. Thank you for that concept. I'm just going to elaborate on it. The minute you go they, there is no they. When you point fingers at somebody, you're pointing fingers at a human being. And I'm just going to say it again, at the most common denominator, we are all human beings co-inhabiting planet Earth together. You point at someone else, you're pointing at the human race. It's you, it's us, it's us, this is us. This is the human race, my friend. May the humans win the race.
Indeed. And in the words of our national anthem,
not the virus.
Not the virus. In the words of our national anthem, Kosi Sikilele, God bless Africa, man. God bless Africa.
Hallelujah.